Do not hide from, or be frustrated by, or avoid your problems. If you try to avoid them, you will only have long excuses, blame others, and justify within constant resentments, complaints, and disputes. Look deeply into your problems and see the plan of God who works elaborately. When I receive the mercy of God who even forgives sins, I commit with my heart, mind, and eyes, all nations will be blessed through me. God listens attentively to my prayer as I engrave and evangelize. Jesus is the Christ, whether I am at home or in the temple court. If I do not receive God's mercy, God will not answer me when I diligently search and seek Him when fear overtakes me like a storm, when disasters sweep over me like a whirlwind, and when distress and troubles overwhelm me. Only when I know that my original sin started from Genesis 3 and the curses run in my family, and call the name Jesus Christ, the one in Genesis 3:15, will I receive God's mercy. If I formed a covenant through God's love and received God's mercy, I should become different from now on as the one who is indebted to love. My righteousness does not come from the law, but through the faith of only believing in Christ. Apostle Paul hoped to be found in Christ every day. As I have received God's mercy and am known by God, never turn back to shallow principles. But now that you know God, or rather, am known by God, how is it that you are turning back to those weak and shallow principles? Do you wish to be enslaved by them all over again? If I cannot open my eyes towards the spiritual truth, but only have physical senses, I will become an enemy against evangelist Paul, who proclaims and engraves that Jesus is the Christ. Within God's 24 hours, the complete gospel, Christ, do not let your joy, prayer, and gratitude be taken from you. Within God's 25th hour, the timeline called eternity, be set free by the eternal gospel, Christ's mercy. If you do not understand Jesus' diagnosis that you are of your father the devil, and stay in the curse of the Babel Tower, you will fall into a deep pit within the devil's system of original sin and cannot come out like Bill Gates, a once successful man in the world. Form the covenant of love with God through Genesis 3:15, the way to overcome disasters. Do not live as an enemy of the cross who blocks the way of God, as Paul said several times with tears. Receive God's mercy and go to the deserted souls in the darkness and deliver them God's mercy and love. My future is not about foreseeing. My future is the heavenly command and calling given to me by God. Become a beautiful witness of Christ, who preaches God's mercy to the ends of the earth. This is my future.